I thought we might get away with the Christmas break without any news intrusion. No. But it was the last 2 days when President Trump decided to remove the Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro using U.S. military forces to do so. I right away was on News Nation with Leland Vittert that Saturday night because I was so furious about the initial reporting done by the American press, which is essentially dishonest, as you know. But it wasn't so much they were dishonest. Yes, they don't, anything Trump does, they don't like. We know that. But they had no idea what was happening. None. Or why it was happening, and they didn't know anything. So I did slap the suit and makeup on, went on News Nation, and we have posted it on BillO'Reilly.com, my segment with Leland Vittert, for premium and concierge members. Another reason why I hope you consider joining our club there, because you got the best information, lightning speed, all right? And why you're wasting, I'm involved with this because I was watching other news agencies, and I was yelling at the television set, you don't know what you're talking about. And as you know, I have experience reporting from Latin America. Anyway, tonight we're going to give you every bit of what happened and why it happened, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Plus, we're going to take you to Caracas. We have a guest, a journalist who's on the ground there. So we have, once you get through with us, you'll know what's going on. Number one, U.S. Special Forces descended into Caracas, Venezuela at 1 a.m., okay, on Saturday morning, 2 a.m. Caracas time. We're an hour ahead of us. Okay. They targeted Maduro and his wife, who were in a military compound outside of Caracas in so-called safe place. And it wasn't safe because the deal was made before the U.S. Delta Force went in with the CIA that the Venezuelan military would not protect the dictator Maduro. Okay? That deal was already made, and they didn't. There were no U.S. casualties. There was no police intrusion on the part of the Venezuelan government, nothing. So they sold Maduro out. They snatched him, put him on a helicopter. He went to the USS Iwo Jima, which was off the coast of Venezuela, transferred to a military transport place, took him to New York State, where he is incarcerated in Brooklyn, and today pled not guilty to narcotics charges and a whole bunch of other stuff that the Justice Department alleges. Now, Maduro obviously is entitled to his day in court. Due process extends to him, but he will be found guilty. The evidence is overwhelming against him. You have to remember that the American CIA is all over the place in Venezuela, Colombia, Honduras, Mexico. They know what's going on. And right now, the CIA is essentially running Venezuela from the American embassy in Caracas. There is no American ambassador. Okay? CIA is calling the shots in association with the Venezuelan military. That's why you don't have any kind of crazy chaos going on there. Not to say that bad things might unfold in the future, but right now, no U.S. casualties. The New York Times reported there were some Venezuelan casualties, but nobody else has reported that. So I don't know what's true and what isn't. I'm certainly not going to trust the New York Times. Okay, who is Nicolas Maduro? Well, he was a corrupt politician, friends with Hugo Chavez, the communist who took over the Venezuelan government. Chavez died in March of 2013. Maduro was vice president. He just took the government over. Maduro effectively wiped out any political opposition, so he was elected and reelected. The whole game that has been going on in South America since World War II. Okay? You just shun the opposition. Anybody who opposes you, you throw into jail. You terrorize the people and you run the country. That's what they do in Cuba. Okay? And I can give you 20 other South American countries where that has happened. That's what Maduro was doing. But And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is go to Amnesty International, the furthest left organization on the planet. They document all of Maduro's suppression of freedom in Venezuela. Amnesty International documents it. Now, the crazy liberals in the Democratic Party, they don't even know that. So, they got Maduro. He's here. He pleads not guilty. The process goes forward. What is going to happen is exactly what happened to Manuel Noriega in Panama in 1989. So then President Bush the Elder moved 27,000 U.S. troops into Panama, snatched Noriega, took him to Miami, where he sentenced to 40 years for narcotics trafficking. Noriega sold Panama to the drug cartels. Bush removed him. Now, there wasn't any reporting Saturday night on that. It's exactly the same. Exactly. All you heard was War Powers Act this, War Powers Act that. Now, to get more specific, because we need you, the American person, voter, to understand. The syndicate that Maduro allegedly worked with is called Cartel de las Soles, S-O-L-E-S. Okay? In the summer and again in November, the Trump administration designated Cartel de las Soles as a terrorist group. That means under American law, we can use American military people to attack that cartel, just as we did to attack Soleimani. Remember that? Taking him out, the Iranian henchman, and ISIS, and Osama bin Laden. There's no War Powers Act. Okay, it was like basically, okay, president has authority, if he deems a group to be terrorists, to attack them. But we all understand that. Apparently, the Democrats don't. Okay. And I don't want to make this a party thing, but it's absurd. It's insane. Now, what happened in Panama is what they call precedent. So if the Democratic Party does anything legally, the Supreme Court is going to say, no. There's been precedent since 9/11 and then before, since 1989. American president has the power to protect this country. Does not have to consult with Congress on every action. In fact, how could you possibly consult with Congress on bombing the Iranian nuclear facility or snatching Maduro? We have a weak debate on Maduro, like he's not going to know what you're doing? That puts American military lives in danger. All right, doesn't matter. None of this matters to the Democratic Party or the media that supports it. Roll the tape.
And I think that's why a war powers resolution is absolutely necessary right now to debate.
I directly asked Secretary of State Rubio whether the administration would come to Congress and basically ask permission of Congress, which is consistent with the Constitution and the War Powers Act.
We need to have the War Powers Acts put into place so that anything that happens requires approval of Congress.
No, it's not going to happen. The War Powers Act basically says that if you declare war, you got 60 days to bring that declaration for congressional approval. Okay, but we haven't declared war on Venezuela. All right, we arrested a alleged criminal that was hurting our national security by allowing tons of cocaine to be smuggled in here. That's what we did. Now, the worst, and I mean absolute worst, politician in this country today is Senator Charles Schumer, the minority leader. This guy is an amazing hypocrite. The Biden administration designated $25 million reward for the abduction of Nicolas Maduro. Did you know that? The Biden administration. So we'll pay you $25 million if you can get Maduro and bring him up here. Schumer say a word? No. Did you know it? No, you didn't. And if you did, write to me, bill@BillO'Reilly.com, and tell me how you knew it, because it wasn't reported. All right, so Schumer shows up with that nitwit George Stephanopoulos, who I just crucified today on Message of the Day on BillO'Reilly.com. This guy is so ridiculous, I don't even have the words anymore. Anyway, the two of them are on the Sunday show. Go.
You heard Secretary Rubio there. He says the United States has the authority to do what they're doing.
They
right
do
now.
not. They do not.
Why not?
He couldn't even answer your question. There is no authority to go. They did not just do ships off the water. They went inside Venezuela, bombed civilian as well as military places. And it's a violation of the law to do what they did without getting the authorization of Congress.
That's just false. Now, he's either too stupid to understand that or he's lying. And I don't know of any action to bomb civilians in Venezuela. It certainly hasn't been reported. Now, Schumer did the exact same thing in the Iran bombing, almost word for word. Oh, what happened there? Nothing. Nothing. And how did that turn out? Schumer said it was going to lead to a, quote, wider war when Trump bombed the Iranian nuclear facility last summer. Did it lead to a wider war? No. In fact, Iran's on the verge of collapse right now. So, do you think Schumer might temper? No. Because he didn't care. He doesn't care about you or me or the country. He is a fanatical left-wing person at this point in his career. It's just stunning, it really is. This will never get to the Supreme Court, but if it did, they just throw it out in a heartbeat. Okay, so in 2020, when Trump was running against Biden, okay, we'll go way back then, Schumer wanted Maduro removed. Roll it.
He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
Schumer wanted him out. And he was criticizing Trump for not getting him out. I mean, talk about a colossal. I have to tell you this. I've been doing this, more than 30 years now, news analysis and reporting more than 50. I've never seen a more irresponsible politician ever than Charles Schumer. And that goes back to Civil War days. I mean, this man just lies to you. And that's why the Democratic Party has no credibility whatsoever. That's why, even if the economy doesn't surge this year, Republicans might still hold on because the Democrats are so bad, because they're led by Charles Schumer. He's the most powerful Democrat in the country. Okay, let's sum all this up. So the action that the Trump administration took was legal. There is precedent. Maduro will be convicted. He will never see freedom again. Noriega got 40 years. Maduro will probably get 40. Okay, his wife will get 10 or 15. She went along with it, but she's not the threat. I don't know what's going to happen inside Venezuela. No one can predict that. I have a guest coming up in very shortly who's going to give us his opinion, but I don't know. I don't think we should have American military presence walking around that country, but certainly we should, we being the American government, oversee Venezuelans to temporarily stabilize the situation and set up free elections. CIA is perfectly capable of doing that, and I would assume they will do it. But I don't expect any kind of Iraq action or Afghanistan where these fanatical people are trying to hurt United States troops. I don't foresee that. If I'm wrong, I'll obviously report I'm wrong. And that's the memo.